It's Seattle Mariners baseball. Today's game is brought to you in part by Busch Beer. Head for the mountains of Busch. By Unical 76. We're still a service station. By the Men's Warehouse, where you get great selection, great service, and a great price. By Subaru and your local Subaru dealer. By Pizza Hut. Check directory assistance for the Pizza Hut delivery nearest you. Pizza Hut, making it great. By your Puget Sound Nissan dealers who invite you to test drive an award-winning Nissan. And by Olympic, the family of products that protect your home from the damage weather can do. Olympic stops the rain.
Last night in Cleveland, another bit of Mariner magic as Tracy Jones hits a double in the ninth inning, and the Mariners hang on and beat the Cleveland Indians and fly out of Cleveland with a 3-game sweep. Tonight, they find themselves in the Bronx, New York. And a very pleasant good afternoon to you, everybody. Dave Niehaus along with Rick Riz at Yankee Stadium in New York. Another one-run game. The M's have been winning the one-run games this year.
You betcha. Very successful in the 1- and 2-run, the close games this year. Last year, it was a different story, but with a lot of key base hits late in the game and the great work by the bullpen, they're winning the close games.
Hey, Rick, the Mariners have a new face tonight.
The Mariners and the Yankees make a deal earlier this afternoon. They pick up third baseman Mike Blowers from the Yankees. He grew up in Spanaway, Washington, played his college baseball at the University of Washington. I had a chance to talk with Mike Blowers, and I asked him, was he happy about the deal?
Well, when they told me today, I was real excited about it. I'd heard rumors over the last week or so, and I wasn't really surprised by it, but I'm definitely excited. I felt like I wasn't in a good situation here and things weren't working out, and I needed to go somewhere where I was going to get an opportunity, and I feel like being with the Mariners, I'll get that, especially after talking to Jim Lefevre today. They seem real excited to have me, so I'm excited to get my career underway in Seattle.
Well, Mike's going to be really a backup for, Edgar right now, some security in case anything to happen to him, God forbid that, but we need some protection there, but we also feel that, he's got some power. He's a young player who's, is going to add a lot of depth to our team. What he needs to do now is to go down to AAA and play, get himself into shape, and just let the numbers take care of itself. But we just feel that by acquiring him, we've really, increased our, quality of players at a lower level.
Obviously, a welcome addition to from a young man that makes his home in Seattle. Back up to you, David.
All right, Joe, in tonight's pitching matchup, left-hander Randy Johnson for the Mariners. He hasn't won since the 21st of April. Perhaps he'll get his act together tonight. Right-hander Tim Leary for the New York Yankees. Good to have you with us, and we'll be back and have a look at this evening's starting lineups right after this timeout.
Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. This is Joe Simpson with Dave Niehaus for the first of 3 between the Mariners and the Yankees. Last year, the Mariners 2-4 here at Yankee Stadium. And here's the lineup for the first game of this series. Greg Briley will lead it off for the Mariners in right field, followed by Harold Reynolds at second base. Ken Jr. in center field. Ken Sr. will bat cleanup in left. Edgar Martinez at third base. Pete O'Brien is the DH tonight, as Alvin Davis will play first base. Omar Vizquel will bat eighth. And Scott Bradley gets the start behind the plate, and he'll bat ninth. Defensively for the Yanks, Kevin Moss is at first base as Don Mattingly has a tender knee right now. Steve Sachs is at second. Velarde is at third. Alvaro Espinosa at shortstop. Hensley Mullins is in left field. Roberto Kelly in center, and Jesse Barfield in right. Bob Guerin is behind the plate. And Tim Leary makes his 8th start of the year for the Yankees. He has 1 complete game under his belt. You see his numbers for the year. But even though he lost a game against the Mariners a week or so ago, he has been tough against the Mariners, especially last year. He was 3-0, wasn't he?
He was 3-0 last year. He's 0-1 this year. Eric Hansen beat him Monday night, the 6th of May at the Kingdome, 4-2. The Yankees are coming off consecutive losses to the California Angels, in which they were outscored 17-2. So they're a little bit battered. As a matter of fact, the amazing stat, Joe, we were talking about before we went on the air, the Yankee bullpen. The bullpen is averaging almost 4 innings per game.
That'll wear out a lot of arms, won't it?
Well, the Yankees also today sent down Jimmy Leyritz, one of their third basemen, to Columbus. They have recalled Torey Lovullo and right-hander Alan Mills. So additions, and of course the deal, Mike Blowers, now a member of the Seattle Mariner organization. He will report to Calgary. Or rather, yes, to Calgary. Here is Mr. Pee Wee Briley to lead it off, and the first pitch is a sinker down low, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Pee Wee has been struggling a little bit. Only 3 hits in his last 23 at-bats. 82 degrees here at game time. It is warm in the Big Apple. 2 balls and no strikes on Greg Briley.
He's also struggled against Larry Davies. 0 for 13 in his career against Tim, who will feature a good fastball and a real hard split finger pitch.
The 2-0. There's the strike right on the inside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Lurie with a record of 2-2, but that very high earned run average of over 5. The Yankees 12-19, and of course the Mariners on quite a roll. They have won 10 of their last 11 games. Ground ball hit to Sachs at second base. He'll bobble it, pick it up, throw to first in time to get Greg Briley. So 1 down, and we are expecting heavy showers, but later on tonight we shouldn't have any problem getting the game in.
Sachs did a good job. He got the short hop, but he kept his body in front of the ball to make sure it didn't get past him for the out. Tim Larry, I'm just going to say, Dave, real quick, that Tim Larry last year 9-19, but there's some amazing numbers that go along with those 19 losses that we'll get to through the course of the ball game. He did not pitch that poorly.
Harold Reynolds at batting average up to .314 with a 12-game hitting streak as he stands up there. The Mariners last year really struggled against New York. And on the outside corner for a strike. There's your umpiring crew. Larry Barnett, the man calling balls and strikes. Al Clark at first, Ken Kaiser at second, and Greg Koss around at third. On the corner, 0-2 on Harold Reynolds. The Mariners have laid waste to the East. This will finish their string of 18 consecutive games against the East, and they're 12-3. 1-2 the count. Two and two.
Last year, Leary had 26 wild pitches. That was 1 short of the American League record of Jack Morris, and he already has 6 this year.
And that pitch is hit to center field. That's Death Valley out there, and Roberto Kelly will make the catch. Skipper Stump Merrill of the New York Yankees seating up right now. Got a mouthful of those sunflower seeds. Here's Junior. Junior did not play in last night's ball game. He came up as a pinch hitter. Did not start, let's put it that way. He ended up in the outfield and was intentionally walked. The kid is 0 for his last 15. 0-1. The breeze that we have blowing out toward left field tonight. A little bit low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Last year, Tim Leary had the worst run support of any pitcher in baseball. An average of only 3.03 runs per game.
Fastball. 1-2 on Junior.
In fact, in his 19 losses, he was shut out 4 times, and 6 times he only got 1 run to back him up.
And a ground ball to the first baseman, Kevin Maas. He'll carry it to the bag, and the Mariners go in order here in the first tonight. 3 up and 3 down against Tim Leary. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We're underway in Gotham, and after a half an inning, the Mariners nothing. The Yankees coming up against Randy Johnson.
Tim Leary throws blanks at the Mariners in the top half of the first inning. And as we go to the bottom half of the first here at Yankee Stadium, here's the Yankee lineup tonight. Roberto Kelly will lead it off in center. Steve Sachs bats second. Kevin Maas bats third. Jesse Barfield at the cleanup spot. Hensley Mullins will bat fifth. Mel Hall will be the DH. Randy Velarde gets a start at third base. Bob Guerin will bat 8th and catch. And Alvaro Espinosa will bat 9th and play shortstop. The Mariners have Alvin Davis at first base, Harold Reynolds at second, Edgar Martinez at third, and Omar Vizquel at short. In the outfield, Ken Sr. in left, Jr. in center, and Greg Briley in right field. Scott Bradley gets the start behind the dish, and Randy Johnson makes his 8th start of the year. He is 2-3 in ERA, just over 5. He's allowed 3 home runs this year. Opponents hitting .257 against him. And number 1, Dave, he's got to cut down on the walks. You can see there are 37 walks in 42 2/3 innings.
Got a funny feeling he's going to have a good game tonight. I had breakfast with him this morning. Matter of fact, Randy Johnson's been a busy man today. Jeff Smullion's radio station here in town, WFAN, took him up in their chopper, their traffic helicopter, and he had a photographer's tour. Of course, he is a great photographer, and shot the New York skyline today. I'm anxious to see his pictures. Roberto Kelly takes the fastball high, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Kelly hitting .275. And a man that can flat go get a baseball in center field with anybody. Fastball and a high fly ball popped up, and Greg Briley now has the wind play with it a little bit and finally doesn't get it. Briley picks it up. He called all the way, and the wind carried it away from him.
Something else, Dave, is this gray sky right now makes it hard to pick up the ball in the twilight. But look at the wind, how it's gusting straight out to left field, and it just took the ball right away from Greg. And as soon as he called it, Ken Griffey Jr. gave way. Did not expect the ball to blow all the way back over to center field. Greg's looking for help right there.
Well, a weird start to this one, as it was last night when Mike Huff had the bad bounce over the head of Edgar Martinez into left field. So that's a wind-aided leadoff double by Roberto Kelly. Steve Sachs has really been struggling. Sachs has only 3 hits in his last 35 at-bats. And a bunt in the air, and it'll drop untouched. A little unusual sacrificing here in the first inning. Instead of trying to hit the ball to the right side and maybe find a hole.
But hey, when you're 3 for 35, maybe not that much confidence in his ability to go to the right side right now, and he wants to make sure he gets that guy over to third base, so he goes to the bunt instead.
The Yankees at 12-19 on the year. New York 8 games back of the Eastern Division leading Boston Red Sox. Two strikes. It'll be interesting to see how Randy Johnson responds to a little bit of adversity early, because he should have an out up there. He's got to forget about it and come right after the hitters. Slider misses down low. A ball and 2 strikes. Johnson 1-0 last year against New York, and an even record of 2-2 against them in his career.
Likes those pants long, doesn't he?
Gotta have long. long. Slider.
How big a cuff do you think Greg Briley could put on those if he put them on? Double him up right back up to his knees.
Probably could. Johnson more than a foot taller than Greg Briley. Two and 2 on Steve Sachs. That's Roberto Kelly out there at second base, just walking off the corner of your screen. Slider, and a foul back up on the screen behind home plate. But George Steinbrenner now out of control with the New York Yankees. It's a much more relaxed atmosphere here when you come to Yankee Stadium and talk to the Yankee officials. Nobody's screaming for Stump Merrill's scalp yet. On the inside corner, strike 3 called by Larry Barnett.
One thing an umpire hates to have happen to him, Dave, is to be interrupted when he's ringing somebody up. Steve Sachs jumped right in the middle of Larry Barnett, didn't even let him finish his motion to ring Sachs up.
Whoa. He gives him another blast, and Barnett, you can see the ruddiness of his complexion. That blood beginning to flow into that face.
Larry has an extremely short fuse, too. He's telling him right now, that's enough. Here's the pitch again. Fastball. See, watch the motion. He got right on his side where he could not ring him up, and I'm not so sure about what that was a ball anyway.
Well, here's Kevin Moss now against the big guy, taking it high and inside. Ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. 33 walks to Kevin Moss. That's the most in the league. Don Mattingly hurt himself last night trying to break up a double play, jammed a knee, and thus Moss at first base tonight. Mattingly on the bench. High and outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Randy's got a good fastball tonight, Dave. That's a good sign to start the ball game early. Is that he's got a good one and he's using it. Scott Bradley is putting the number 1 down to try to establish that early, and needs to keep these Yankee hitters honest. One time, I think at times Randy has a tendency to get away from his fastball, and that's his best pitch.
Moss, the stroke made for Yankee Stadium in that short porch in right field. Californian at the plate. Californian on the hill, and that's outside. Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Breeze continues to blow out in New York tonight. Moss green lighted 3-0.
A good move against a left-handed pitcher. Moss against that big left-hander out there, not perhaps later on in the ball game, not able to get ahead in the count or get an opportunity to really jump on a good fastball.
You had a peek at Jesse Barfield, who is on deck. High and inside, ball 4. Well, here is Jesse Barfield. It was last April that the kid in center field, Ken Griffey Jr., pulled one of the most spectacular catches of the year in, and here it is, the 26th of April, as he takes a home run away from Jesse Barfield, and the fans couldn't believe it. And look at the smile on the kid's face. That's become a famous piece of tape since that night.
Did you notice who the pitcher was, by the way? Randy Johnson.
Slider to Jesse, 0-1.
Slider and a beauty.
Jesse has a couple of home runs in his last 3 games. Those coming against the California Angels. 2 on, 1 down. A slider a little low and inside. The Mariners leading the major leagues in double plays. They have 52 of them.
And Kevin Moss leads the league in walks. He just picked up his league-leading 34th. Good fastball.
He's bringing it up there.
Yes,
tonight.
he is. And Jesse Barfield's a good fastball hitter. He may have been looking for the slider.
Mariners, of course, winning 3 of 4 against New York at home. 1-2. Fastball blew him down, so 2 away.
Made a great pitch, Dave, to set this one up. That fastball up really out of the zone. He got Barfield to chase a bad one. Look how high this pitch is. High and outside, but because he took the first fastball, Jesse wasn't going to let this one slide. And Randy has a couple of strikeouts this inning.
Well, here's the man they call Bam Bam, the young man from Curacao in the Netherlands Antilles, Hensley Mullins. Put up some awesome numbers at Columbus last year, but struggling here in the big leagues right now. Randy Johnson continuing to throw hard.
Mullins had a rough time in Seattle in the Kingdome in that series. Went 2 for 14, but one of those hits was a big one that first game of the series when he hit a 3-run homer deep right center field. He has power to all fields.
Slider strike.
Took a little off that pitch, didn't he? Mullins seemed to have a good hack at the fastball first pitch. So Randy changed speeds on him. Good call by Scott Bradley.
Fastball and a fly ball hit into right center field. This time Mr. Briley is there, and this time he does make the catch to retire the side. In the first, nice job by Randy Johnson. No runs, a hit, and the Yanks leave a couple. And at the end of one in New York City, no score. Well, there are the standings. Nice, huh? A half a game behind the Oakland A's, the Seattle Mariners, after this run of winning 10 out of 11. The California Angels 2.5 back. They've been playing some good baseball, but only 6.5 games from the top spot, the cellar dwellers, the Kansas City Royals. And we'll see Kansas City next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
They've played a little bit better this week after a long losing streak.
Well, here's Senior, a return to New York, where he used to play. You saw the kids catch last year in April. His dad made a similar catch here in 1983 off a ball hit by Marty Barrett of the Boston Red Sox, climbing up over the wall to bring it back in. Down low, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
It too was a spectacular play. He got high into those seats.
That sinker low ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Griffey 7 for 25 with a home run off Tim Leary. And that's low. So 4 pitches, and Griffey trots to first base. And that'll bring up Edgar Martinez.
He had a home run against Leary in the Kingdome in that start that Leary had against the Mariners on May 6th.
Edgar Martinez, third base.
Edgar Martinez, a pure hitting machine, but he hasn't hit against Leary. He has never had a base hit against Tim Leary. He is 0 for 9.
He's beginning to draw a crowd around the batting cage too. You noticed?
He's such a pure hitter. Number 3 in the league right now in hitting. Wally Joyner of the Angels leading at 380. Dave Henderson 357, and then Martinez right on his heels at 355.
Wally Joyner is red hot.
Watch him hit the ball to the right side here. Into the hole. You'll go with the pitch wherever the pitch is pitched. That's down the middle. You just want to have a look at a good fastball.
Well, Leary's aware of Edgar's abilities, and he knows from the scouting reports that he will go to right field. And with that hole over there, he's going to try to make it as tough as possible for him. He wants him to hit the ball on the ground, but he'd prefer to hit it the left side.
And that pitch is lined into left field this time, and Griffey will stop at second base. So Edgar Martinez has a Leary notch on his belt finally.
Yeah, so he says, okay, you're going to pitch me in there. I'll show you what I can do with that inside pitch. I'll rope it to left field. He had some balls in batting practice that were scary. Jeff Schaefer was taking some ground balls at third base, and Jeff was just kind of laying the ball. He didn't want any part of it. He was making some nice stabs, but they were rockets.
Well, here's Pete O'Brien.
Mr. Ninth Inning.
Boy, has he ever been. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Mariners Baseball Network.
This is KSTW Television, Channel 11, Tacoma, Seattle, the home of the Mariners.
And a little bit outside that sinker. 1 ball and no strikes.
I asked Pete about DHing today. If it mattered to him to be swapping off with Alvin quite a bit this week, and he said it really didn't. He said especially if it helps Alvin. He said I don't mind at all.
Close relationship between those two. Ironically. Not ironically, they're both such gentlemen. Hot shot, base hit down the right field line. So here comes Ken Griffey to score. Edgar Martinez to second base, and the Mariners lead it 1-0. That ball blistered by Pete O'Brien.
Sounded like a firecracker went off, and it almost took the legs right out from under Edgar. Pete's looking over at Edgar right now. Look at that smile on Edgar's face. He almost took Edgar's feet with him with that line shot. It was, in fact, a second. I thought maybe Edgar would have trouble getting to second base in time.
That was a sinker.
Watch,
It didn't sink.
jumped.
Yeah.
And he goes down to his knees as he dodges the line drive. Barfield saw it too, and he was trying to get over there in a hurry if he had a play on Martinez. Great angle here. Edgar has to jump. Moss has to dive. And the Mariners are up 1-0.
Alvin Davis taking the breaking ball way inside. Ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes.
'22nd RBI for Pete.
That leads the club.
A lot of grins in the dugout these days.
Sinker, strike.
And not the least of which was Pee Wee Briley, who was happy that that wind-blown double of Roberto Kelly's didn't cost Randy Johnson in the bottom of the first.
A run in, 2 on, nobody down in the second. Alvin taking strike 2, 1-2. And that ball belted but pulled foul down the right field line.
Nice catch by the fan, and then he was wanting a little more appreciation.
Alvin, a ground ball wide of third, cut off by Velarde, who goes to Sachs, and they get the 1, or they get the 1 only. Double play. They tag the runner. They tagged Edgar Martinez coming down from third base. So the double play, 5-4. Alert play by Randy Velarde.
It was, and as a base runner, you're trying to get to a point where you can get by the fielder before he feels the ground ball. Didn't happen in this case. Velarde did a good job of cutting off the baseline, and then O'Brien had to make a hard slide at second to keep a triple play from occurring.
Well, here's Omar. Omar's hit 9 of his last 10 games.
You don't see that very often. It hit into a force play double play and still be on base.
The division leading A's at Oakland tonight, tied at 1-1 in the first. 0-2 on Omar Vizquel. One nothing M's in the second. A ball and 2 strikes on the Mariners shortstop.
Tim Leary signed with the Mets back in '79. He was their #1 pick that year. He was the 2nd pick in the entire draft. He has since played with the Brewers, Dodgers, Reds, and now the Yankees.
2-2. Alvin Davis at first base.
6'3", 220-pounder.
Wearing Goose Gossage's old number, 54. How about the Goose?
How about the Goose? 4-0 last I saw.
The Texas Rangers.
Omar's hanging tough. He's got a couple of hits against Leary lifetime, 2 for 7. Omar's been playing a real solid shortstop lately too, Dave. He's always been a good fielder, but it seems like his concentration this year is a lot better at shortstop. He doesn't let those easy ones get to him sometimes.
It's out of play.
At times it seemed like there were the easy routine plays where he would relax a little bit and maybe bobble one, and that's not happening this year. Mr. Johnson with a
cooling down
1-run lead.
Omar, fly ball to left, straight away. Hensley Mullins is there, and that will take care of the Mariners in the second. But the M's score first tonight. A run here in the second inning on a couple of hits and a man left. And after an inning and a half, the Mariners leading the New York Yankees 1-0. It's not country music we hear in the background.
It will be that night.
Yes, sir.
Highway 101's a great country group.
Well, here's Mel Hall. Mr. Hall, 6 hits in his last 9 at-bats, and a little unusual to see a left-handed designated hitter against Randy Johnson, Joe.
And especially for that DH to be Mel Hall.
Broken bat, ground ball, hit right to Reynolds at second base, so 1 pitch and 1 out here in the second.
And the reason for that is that Mel Hall last year hit .207 against lefties. He was 12 for 58. Lifetime even worse. In 355 at bats before that one, he'd only hit .163 against lefties. Not much success.
Randy Velarde. With Mike Blowers now gone and Jimmy Leyritz sent down today. I guess the job for the time being is Mr. Velarde's. Maybe Torey Lovullo will be in there from time to time. He's just been called up. Mike Blowers mighty happy to get out of the Yankee organization. Out of play, Scott Bradley to have a look. More foul territory here behind the plate than anywhere in the American League. I'm not familiar with the National League parks.
I don't recall any that have any more than this. That's what's so dangerous about a wild pitch or a pass ball with runners on base here, because 2 bases could easily be given up.
Slider a little outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. In the second, Oakland and Cleveland still tied at 1-1. California, Baltimore 1-1 in the second. Right on the inside corner, and Randy Velarde giving Mr. Larry Barnett the old evil eye as he walks away.
Just about the same pitch too, Dave.
Number 53.
Almost the same spot, fastball up and in. And Randy has 3 Ks.
Bob Guerin, the hitter.
Here's that pitch again.
I kept pretty good
that one,
piece of the plate.
Yeah, that was a better pitch than the one to Sachs. This umpiring crew, they can throw some beef out there on this group, can't they? Barnett, Koss, Ken Kaiser, and Al Clark. That's the Bod squad. Oh, what a good fastball.
right at the kneecaps. Well, here early, Randy Johnson is locked in. He's got that radar zoned in perfectly.
Breaking ball. Slider, yeah, he tried to throw it perhaps a little too hard.
Fastball popped up on the infield. Harold Reynolds calling. It's going to drift onto the outfield grass thanks to the wind. And that will be that for New York in the second. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Rick will be with you in the third at the end of 2. 1-0 M's.
After 2 innings of play here at Yankee Stadium, the Mariners have a 1-0 lead over New York. Hello again, everybody. Rick Riz along with Joe Simpson and Randy Johnson worked out of a jam early and really settled down in the second.
Yeah, the windblown double by Kelly put him in the hole, but he came back, got a couple of strikeouts in the first inning, racked up another one last inning. So Randy's got a good fastball tonight. That's good to see that he's throwing that, using it, set up his slider and off-speed pitch, getting ahead of the hitters, and that really makes a difference for him and his success.
Randy Johnson looking for his 3rd win of the season. Hasn't won since April the 21st. Tim Leary hasn't won in a while as well. His last win was on April the 19th.
That's right. And a couple of clutch hits there in the top of the second inning, too. Some hard hit balls by Martinez and O'Brien.
Catcher Scott Bradley leads off the top of the 3rd. Hitting 107, no home runs, and a couple of runs batted in. A strike on the inside corner, 0-1.
Scotty's always hit pretty well here. Maybe this is the night that he breaks out of the slump that he's been in. It's been real frustrating for him. Taking a lot of extra batting practice.
Looks at a fastball for a strike. The count is 0-2.
We were talking about Steve Saxon being in a slump himself. He's, what, 3 for 35 or something. And that's one thing when you're playing every day.
Strike 3 called. Fastball down and away, and Tim Leary has his first strikeout tonight.
But when you've only got 28 bats on the season, begin to wonder if you're ever going to get another hit. And Scotty was 3 for 28 before that at bat. 2 of those were game winners, though, of course, early in the year in pinch hit appearances. And he'll get back on track. He just needs a few more at bats.
Sachs has the luxury of staying out there day after day after day to try to work things out. Right fielder Greg Briley is 0 for 1. He has grounded out to Sachs at second base. Pops one out of play into the upper deck on the third base side. 0-1. Pee Wee hitting .227. He's in a little bit of a slump. Only 3 hits down his last 24 at bats. Close at third is Velarde. Low and inside, gets away from Guerin. Ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. The M's trying to make it 5 wins in a row. What a series in Cleveland, Joe. Getting clutch base hits late in the ball game, coming back to win it. All 3 were close. 2-1, 6-4, and 3-1. Swing and a miss, and the count is now 1-2 on Pee Wee.
Give Leary a lot of credit too. First on the strikeout on Bradley by painting the corners and using that good split finger fastball. Made another good one. Good pitch there to Briley.
Down, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He had a success against the Mariners last year, 3-0 in a season that he went 9-19. Bounced out to Moss. Tricky hop. He handles it right there at the bag for the out on Briley. 2 away. Looked like Kevin was spinning his wheels a little bit, waiting for that tricky short hop.
That's one of those plays where once you've committed yourself, you better smother the hop, because you're going to get one in between there. And if you don't make the play, you really look foolish by not waiting to play the good hop and then tossing to your pitcher.
And you're in a lot of trouble if that ball gets on by, because it's a long run for the second baseman or the right fielder to pick it up. Harold Reynolds 0 for 1. He has flied out to center fielder Roberto Kelly. At the knees for a strike. Mariners lead 1-0. Don Mattingly on the bench with a sore right knee, sliding, trying to break up a double play in last night's game against California. Yankees would love to see Mattingly healthy, bothered by a bad back the last few years. One of the best in the game of baseball right there, and Don Mattingly from Evansville, Indiana.
Harold Reynolds, yes, he's been hot 12 games in a row. He's hit safely, but it's been extended beyond that. He's 24 for his last 45.
Low ball 3-1. Say likes hitting in that number 2 spot. Good situational type hitter. He'll take a pitch with a runner on at first base. Go the other way. Can lay down the bunt. Played a little hit and run with him. There's a line drive into right field, but Barfield is there to make the catch to retire the side. It stayed up, and Barfield was able to make the catch. And after 2.5 innings of play here in New York, the Mariners have a 1-0 lead. Fans, don't miss our next telecast coming up on Sunday morning at 10:30 when the Mariners play the final game of this series against the Yankees here in New York. And Sunday morning at 10:30 right here on the Mariners Baseball Network.
That'll be a good matchup too. Brian Holman against Pascual Perez. Perez made his first start, a good one the other night, on his return from the disabled list. Hadn't pitched in over a year. In fact, his last start was against the Mariners here, wasn't it?
Right here on April the 25th.
April.
And at that point, they said, well, it's going to be a day-to-day basis, and it turned out to be the problem with the shoulder, and just came back 4 days ago. 1-0 Mariners lead, bottom of the 3rd, leading it off for the Yankee shortstop Alvaro Espinoza. Ground ball past Martinez down the left field line, extra bases. Senior to dig it out of the corner. Espinoza is in at second with a leadoff double. Base hit number 2 for the Yankees. Hit number 1 was a leadoff bloop double in the first inning, and Johnson got out of that jam.
Espinosa's been struggling like Sachs. He has 1 for his last 14 before that at bat, and 4 for his last 25. So he snaps out of it here in his first AB of the night. Gets it past Edgar and down into the corner for a leadoff double. So we'll see if Randy can pitch his way out of this one.
Here's center fielder Roberto Kelly. High and outside for ball 1. Kelly now with 9 hits in his last 22 at bats, and hitting very well against left-handers. .359. Espinoza at second base. Slider gets in there for a strike. 1-1.
Rick, did you know that only 2 players last year had more stolen bases and home runs combined than Roberto Kelly?
Really?
And they were both MVPs, Ricky Henderson and Barry Bonds.
Johnson will look back out at second base. Another slider, ground ball to Martinez at third. Espinoza will have to hold. 1 away. Big out for Randy Johnson by getting the out on the left side of the infield, and Espinoza had to stay at second base.
And Kelly was trying real hard to go to the right side. Even his top hand came off the bat. He was trying to inside out the swing, but he couldn't stay back long enough to do that. Head of the bat got out in front of the zone, and he was able to pull it. Randy got him to pull it.
Steve Sachs, the hitter, he struck out on a controversial strike 3 call in the first inning. Sachs said the pitch was way up and in. And that was the first of 3 Ks for Randy Johnson. 1 on, 1 away. As you mentioned, Sachs having a rough time swinging the bat right now. Only 3 hits down his last 36 at bats. Fastball is inside. 1-0. Wind is starting to whip up here at Yankee Stadium. They're calling for some rain later on tonight. And a little shower earlier this afternoon in Manhattan. Down and in, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Sacks for the season, hitting just .242, a home run, and 13 runs batted in. Espinosa, the tying run out there at second base. Mariners lead 1-0. The slider check swing. He goes. The appeal down to the first base umpire, Greg Kosk, and the count is 2-1. Good hold up on the breaking ball.
Let's see if he actually went or if the umpires are into their tag team. He tried to hold up.
Looked like Sachs didn't want to look.
He really did. He was just kind of peeking out from under the bill of his helmet, wasn't he?
I think he knew. And so did Kosk. Up high with a fastball. Ball 3, 3-1. Well, once again, if you walk the hitter here in this situations, you set up the chance for the double play, but you want to go after a guy who's been struggling.
And even though Moss is left-handed, rather not face him in that situation. Rather have first base open when he comes up there.
Strike on the inside corner. Full count, 3-2, and you don't want to put the go-ahead run on at first base. Moss, who is on deck, is 10th in the American League in home runs with 6. 1 on, 1 away, bottom of the 3rd. Fouled away off his fists. And it's still 3-2 on Sachs. Sachs, who wears number 6, Greg Nettles, who wears number 2, the only 2 single-digit numbers yet to be retired. The Yankees have a lot of retired numbers. Big hitter right here for Randy Johnson, working on Steve Sachs. Fly ball into the gap in left center field. Griffey on the run. Ken reaches out and he makes the catch. 2 away. Ken Griffey Sr. on the run is able to get there, and that is a big second out for Randy Johnson here in the 3rd.
It must be kind of fun to pick your dad's hat up and say, "Nice play, Dad." Way to go get him, Dad. And
they
Senior
might out there.
And Senior might have said to him, "Where were you?"
Need a little bit of help on that one. Well, he was shaded a little bit into right center. 2 outs. Runner at second. And here's first baseman Kevin Moss, who walked for the 34th time this year in the 1st inning. He leads the league in walks. Randy trying for the 2nd time to get out of trouble. Steps off and he looks Espinosa back to second base. Right now the big out. Kelly's ground ball to Martinez at 3rd. Otherwise that fly ball is a sacrifice fly and this ball game is tied. Fastball got a piece of it. 0-1 on Moss. Kevin is 6 for 25 on the homestand.
We talked about Moss's stance a little bit in Seattle and how he has a very unusual crouch. A lot of guys that you see in a crouch batting stance will also be bent over at the waist. He has a deep knee bend, but his back is very straight.
Slider, and he misses a little high. Ball 1, 1-1.
It's a lot of drive off that back leg. It's a lot of power on from his backside.
I think he came up June 21st last year and hit 21 home runs.
Didn't he reach the 15 home run mark faster than anybody in history?
Right. Fly ball down the right field line. Pee Wee on the run, reaches out, and he's got it, and that retires the side. So Randy Johnson dodges a bullet here in the bottom of inning number 3. No runs and a runner left on. And after 3 innings of play, it's still the Mariners 1, the Yankees nothing. Well, we go to the top of the 4th inning. The Mariners have a 1-0 lead over the New York Yankees. Say, kids, if you're between the ages of 6 and 16, here's your chance to be a Milk Dud celebrity bat boy or bat girl at a Mariners game this summer. You can enjoy an on-field celebrity experience prior to the ball game. The Milk Dud Celebrity Bat Boy Bat Girl program, a great way to be part of the 1991 Seattle Mariners. And fans, remember, for every home run hit by a Mariner this season, Security Pacific Bank will donate $100 to the Children's Trust Foundation. To date, the M's have hit 26 home runs, and a total of $2,600 has been donated to that foundation. 1-0. Mariners lead, top of the 4th, and here's Junior. Breaking ball, strike, 0-1 on Griffey. Very impressed with the way that Randy Johnson has worked tonight. Shows the bunt, takes the pitch low, ball 1, 1-1. Junior 0 for 1. He has grounded out to Moss over at first base. The infield is turned around to the right side. Way off the line at third, Velarde. Took a lot off. 1 and 2 on Griffey. He put on a show in early batting practice. Went into the upper deck, way up into the upper deck, about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Would like to do the same at 8:32 tonight. Slider, and it's inside. Ball 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
One of the things Jimmy Lefebvre is trying to get, and Gene Clines are trying to get Junior to do, is to cut down on that uppercut. Try to hit a few more line drives.
Ground ball right to Sachs. And with 1 out, that'll bring up left fielder Ken Griffey.
Left fielder, Ken Griffey, Sr.
Junior back to the dugout. He'll watch his dad hit. Griffey walked, and he scored the one run in the second. On the base hit to right field by Pete O'Brien. First pitch strike, 0-1. Griffey a home run this year. That came against Larry back home in Seattle. Sinker low, 1-1. The Yankees picked up Leary from the Cincinnati Reds for Hal Morris. Morris doing a great job for the Reds this year, batting way over 300. Ball 2, 2 balls and a strike on Senior. Ball 3, 3-1. Senior had some pretty good years right here.
Said he liked hitting here too. I think most left-handers.
I was just going to say, good park for a left-handed hitter. Ground ball down the line, but foul in front of Coach Rusty Kuntz, and the count is full 3-2. How about the service we got on the flight last night?
Well, isn't that
Rusty
wonderful?
Kuntz,
yeah.
took care of everybody on the flight. He put on the apron.
It's the only guy on the team that has his own personalized apron.
Hard ground ball. Moss to his right. Underhands to the pitcher Leary. 2 away. So after giving up the RBI single to Pete O'Brien in the second, Leary has retired 6, 7, 8, or rather 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. And here's third baseman Edgar Martinez, who lined a single into left field in the second. So Edgar is 1 for 1 tonight. He now has a little 5-game hitting streak going. Shows the bunt, takes a strike, 0-1.
Trying to pull Velarde in a little tighter at third base. Randy's playing very deep at third. The way Edgar handles the bat, that's almost, it's like torture.
Way outside in the dirt. Ball 1, 1-1.
Let me see if I can draw you in here a little tighter so I can just scald one right off your New York Yankee emblem.
How about the home run he hit a couple of days ago in Cleveland? Way out to left field, his 4th home run of the season. Got a piece of the outside corner, 1-2. Tim Leary, his 8th start of the season. Outside in the dirt, ball 2, 2-2. Hitting coach Gene Kleins. Happy with the way things have gone this year. 6 games over 500. Ball 3, good eye, full count, 3-2.
He's also happy with the way the Mariner hitters have begun to hit with men in scoring position. When there was such a drought early in the season,
right,
they've really picked up the pace there. Talked about Moss's 34 walks on the year. That leads his club and the league. Edgar has 22, and that leads the Mariners.
Here's a pop fly into shallow right center field. Kelly comes in, says, "I'll take it." And he does to retire the side in the top of the 4th inning. 3 up and 3 down, and after 3.5 here at Yankee Stadium. Mariners 1, the Yankees nothing. Mariners lead the Yankees 1-0, and an RBI single in the 2nd inning by Pete O'Brien. That scored Ken Griffey Sr. from second base. Right now the only run of the ball game each side with a couple of base hits. Randy Johnson has worked out of 2 jams. We go to the bottom of inning number 4. The Yankees will send up right fielder Jesse Barfield, left fielder Hensley Mullins, and then designated hitter Mel Hall. Joe, what about the job Bill Kruger did last night for the Mariners, filling in for the injured Eric Hansen?
It's one of those situations for a manager that you hope a guy can pull off for you when he comes in to fill that kind of need, when you need a guy to come in to make a spot start. But I think it almost exceeded Jimmy Lefebvre's expectations in a way. I mean, not that Bill Kruger's not capable of pitching them. Well, I mean, he can certainly. He's done it before. But, man, that was just what Jimmy Lefebvre ordered.
He was incredible last night. Made the hitters swing the bat. Didn't throw that many pitches. Went 6 in the 3rd innings. Picked up a no decision, but he was the star of last night's win, 3-1 in Cleveland. A strike on Barfield, 0-1. Mike Jackson, another outstanding job out of the bullpen. He picked up his 4th win. He's 4-2. Strike on Barfield. No balls and 2 strikes on Jesse, who struck out swinging on a 1-2 pitch in the 1st.
Nice off-speed pitch after Barfield struck out on a high hummer last time around.
Slider down and away. Ball 1, 1-2.
Working him strictly with soft stuff here. Let's see if he gets him to try to chase another high, hard one.
There it is. Bounced foul down the 3rd base side. Backhanded by Martinez. Still 1-2 on Barfield. Randy's fastball with a lot of giddy up. He was clocked at 100 miles an hour a couple of years ago when he was with the Montreal Expos at Shea Stadium. Did he go on his helicopter ride today, taking pictures?
Yeah. Yeah, a little different routine for him in his pregame preparation.
Bird's eye view of the city. Ground ball to Martinez. Short hop. Nice stop. Toss across. And they got him at first base. 1 away. Nice play by Edgar.
Excellent play by Martinez. At first it looked like he was going to get an easy hop, but certainly didn't. Nice soft hands on that play. Kept his body in front of it. Any bobble at all and Barfield would have been safe. Good breaking ball too from Randy to get the out. That was kind of a sweeping curve instead of the hard slider.
1 out. Here's left fielder Hensley Mullins. There it is. A breaking ball, low and inside, ball 1. Randy has walked only 1, and he has struck out 3. Strike on the inside corner, 1-1.
What a difference that makes for Randy, too, when he doesn't walk the ballpark. 37 walks in 42 innings coming in.
He walked as many as he had struck out. 7.9 walks every 9 innings to his 8.5 strikeouts every 9 innings. Way up high to the backstop. And it's a long way from home plate to the backstop here at Yankee Stadium. 2-1 on Mullins.
Dave and I were talking about that earlier, Rick, and I tried to look in the Yankee media guide to see if I could find the dimensions. I mean, they're full of dimensions for the old park and the new park as far as the outfield goes.
I think it's 80 feet.
But I couldn't find anything.
I think read where it's like 80 feet behind home plate. Strike called on the inside corner. 2-2 on Mullins. That's a long way to go get a pass ball.
Yeah.
Or a wild pitch.
Catchers have got to be on their horse.
Then there isn't any territory on the first and third base side. Strike 3 called. Mullins knew it, and Randy Johnson has strikeout number 4. Mullins looking at strike 3. 2 outs brings up designated hitter Mel Hall.
Here's a good look at the overall dimensions of this old ball yard, built in 1923, renovated just prior to the '77 season, I believe. And the outfield dimensions have changed even since then.
Hall lifts a fly ball into left field. Griffey is there, and Ken makes the easy catch for out number 3. So after 4 innings of play here in New York, Mariners lead the Yankees 1-0. Fans, here's an easy way to get great seats to see the 1991 Mariners in action in the Kingdome. It's the 20 game plan. You select the 20 most attractive games on the Mariners schedule. Select the special events and the visiting teams you most want to see. For more information, call a Mariners personal account executive during business hours on the Mariners MCI fan phone. The number is 1-800-950-FANS. Mariners lead New York 1-0 as we head to the top of inning number 5. Each side with just a couple of base hits. Pete O'Brien right now with a big one. An RBI single to right in the second. That scored Ken Griffey. 0-1 on Pete. Update on the game in Oakland A's. Swing and a pop-up left side of the infield. Shortstop Alvaro Espinosa calls, and he makes the catch. 1 away. So 1 down for Tim Leary here in the top of the 5th inning. And now we have a further update on that ball game. The Indians in the bottom of the 3rd now have a 4-1 lead over the Oakland A's. So if the Indians can win that one and the Mariners can win tonight here in New York, the Mariners will slip into first place in the American League West. What a ride it's been for the Mariners since that 0-6 start. They have gone 20-8. Here's Alvin Davis, a fielder's choice. Hit into a double play in the second. High drive deep into right center field. Back to the wall, Kelly, and he's there to make the catch. 2 outs. He gave it a ride near that 385 mark deep in right center field.
Had a good swing at it too, Rick. He just got under it a little bit. Take another look right down the middle at the knees, and Alvin got good extension, but just lifted it a little bit, and Kelly was able to run under it.
Roberto has about a step and a half to work with on the warning track. So 2 outs, and here's shortstop Omar Vizquel. Little 0 for 1. He flew out to left fielder Hensley Mullins in the second. 1-0 Mariners lead here in the 5th. Shows the bunt, takes it inside, ball 1. Last time the Mariners were in first place after the month of April was back in June of 1987. Here's a bunt attempt by Vizquel, fouls it away at the plate, and the count is even at 1-1. What are some of the things that stand out in your mind? In my mind, it's the bullpen. The committee has done a great job down there, winning a lot of close 1- and 2-run games. The ball club didn't win last year. Fouled away. Count is 1-2.
I like. You can talk about all the parts of the ingredients of the Mariners: offense, defense. It's that last pitch, like he fouled it right between his feet. I like the old adage, the chemistry. I like the way this team fits together. Everybody seems to get along. Everybody seems to like each other. Everybody pulls for each other, and that goes a long way toward a winning attitude, knowing that you can take the field. Like Tracy Jones said last night, they go on the field knowing that they're going to win the ball game.
That's the big difference. Believing that they can win every game that they play.
That's what stands out for me.
Up the middle. Can Espinosa get to it? He can. The throw in time to get Vizquel. Holy smoke. It looked like Little O had the throw beat. Rusty Kuntz talking things over with Greg Kost, the first base umpire. However, they say they get him, and that will retire the side. Close play at first, and after 4.5 innings of play, we get a chance. Is he safe or is he out? Heck of a throw by Espinosa. Looked like he had the throw beat, but it's out number 3. And after 4.5, Mariners lead 1-0. Well, here we go. Here's that last play. Was he out? Was he safe? He is safe. There's his foot on the bag, and Moss hasn't caught the ball yet, but a heck of an effort, though, by Espinosa, Joe.
Great effort. Wrong call.
1-0 Mariners lead. Bottom of the 5th inning. Leading it off for the Yankees third baseman Randy Velarde. Ball 1 the count. All right, an update on the Cleveland-Oakland game in the 4th inning now. It's Cleveland 5 and the A's 1. Cleveland scored 4 times in the bottom of the 3rd. 1-1 the count on Velarde, who struck out in the 2nd, so he's 0 for 1. So the Indians have a 5-1 lead. Bottom of the 5th here. Mariners on top 1-0. Ball 2, 2 balls and a strike on Velarde, hitting just 200. And for the time being anyway, Joe, it looks like this young man has the job over at third base. It's been a revolving door for the Yankees with Velarde and Blowers, who the Yankees traded away to the Mariners today, and Jim Leyritz.
Came up as a shortstop, and then Espinosa got that job. Moved over to the 3rd and became the 3rd guy over there.
2-2.
I've always liked him. He's a very solid fundamental player, and when he's had some at bats consistently, he's produced at the plate. But through attrition, he's out there tonight.
The other 2 guys are gone. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. That is the 2nd time that Johnson has struck out Velarde looking. Strikeout number 5 for Randy, and Johnson is in a groove.
It's the same spot that he struck him out on earlier too. Fastball on the inside corner. He tries to give Larry Barnett a little help, make it look like with a little body English that it was inside, but Number 5, RJ.
And for Randy, that is strikeout number 46 on the year. 1 out. And now Randy works to catcher Bob Guerin. Guerin is 0 for 1. Popped up to Reynolds. The slider, strike on the inside corner at the knees. 0-1. The Yankees with a couple of base hits tonight. A leadoff double by Kelly, a windblown double in the 1st, and a leadoff double by Alvaro Espinosa in the 3rd. And both times they were stranded right there at second base. Up and in with a fastball, moves him back. Ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I'd sure like to know how hard he's throwing tonight. He has popped some good fastballs, the best ones that I have seen him throw this year. Haven't seen all of his starts, but definitely has more on the ball tonight than he's had in any start that I've seen.
A little bit low. Ball 2, 2 balls and a strike.
Another thing that's making him effective tonight is that he's getting his slider over. In fact, he started Guerin with a breaking ball for a strike. And if he's doing that first pitch, throwing that for the first pitch for a strike,
then the other guys are in trouble.
He's going to have them eating out of his hand.
And there's another important thing about Randy's performance. Ground ball out to Martinez at 3rd. He's got it. Toss across. Now that's out number 2. His composure. He is in the ball game. Didn't get shaken up with that bloop double by Kelly in the 1st. Kept himself in there and came right back and got a a couple of outs and strikeouts. Retired Mullins for the final out. He's keeping himself in the game.
Well, I think anybody that has seen Randy pitch will honor the fact or understand what I'm about to say about him being his own worst enemy. They know that at times you can see him on the mound really fighting himself, shaking his head like, gosh, I can't believe I'm throwing the ball that far up out of the zone.
Espinosa looks low and inside, ball one.
You know, disgusted with himself at times. And today, perhaps the fact that he didn't go through his usual routine leading up to a start, leading up day of the game start, you know, maybe the usual process that a guy goes through.
Ball two.
The fact that he took that helicopter ride, you know, took the pictures, the photographs and everything. No, I'm serious.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
it takes your mind
took
away
his mind off the game.
Yeah.
He didn't go through his usual regimen. I think sometimes the pitchers, whether superstitious or not, maybe they do a little too much of that.
Popped up and out of play on the first base side, and the count goes to 2-1 on Espinosa.
I'm not saying go out and play 18 holes of golf and, you know, then show up at the yard 10 minutes before the game starts, but just
gear down
do
a
something.
little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of being
lighten up.
Fifth gear, come on back a little bit, and then
when you get
work
to
your
the
way
game,
into a groove.
then put your game face on when it's time to go warm up.
One thing that I noticed about Randy tonight, he's not doing all the gyrations to the backside of the mound, you know, squatting and trying to loosen up and pinwheeling his arms around. He appears to be very loose. Up high, ball three, 3-1.
Did you see Scott there? Randy was mad because he threw that one high. Scott gave him a shrug like, so what? All right.
And that's up high for ball four. The second walk given up by Randy Johnson, but it comes after 2 outs. Tying run is on at first base, and it brings up center fielder Roberto Kelly.
That's what that reminder was for, and that's why Mike Paul's out there. Hey, don't lose your composure just because of one pitch.
Says, hey, you're pitching a good ball game right here. So you walk the guy. You have 2 outs. Go right after the next guy. Don't try to overthrow. Keep yourself doing the same things you've been doing the last 4 2/3 innings. And that has been throwing strikes. Good timeout right there by Mike Paul. Just a little reminder.
Here's that 3-1 pitch again, and he really tried to put a little extra on this one. You can see the disgust.
And he's done a fine job with his pitching staff, Mike Paul. Kelly 1 for 2. That bloop double, a strike. 0-1. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Mariner Baseball Network.
This is KSTW Television, Channel 11, Tacoma, Seattle, the home of the Mariners.
Good slider for a strike, and right away gets out in front of the count, and Kelly at 0-2
with 2 breaking balls. After walking Espinosa with the fastball, 2-1 and 3-1 with fastballs up out of the zone. Scott Bradley calls 2 breakers, and he throws them for strikes.
Randy steps off, and he looks Espinosa back to first base. See if he tries another breaking ball away. Pitch out. They take a look. Espinosa stays at first base. Ball 1.
Even with no runner at second base, Scott was going through a series of signals there. He pumped 2 fingers down 3 times. I was trying to figure out why they were going through a series with
the same thing,
with no runner at second, and it was the pitch out.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Randy Johnson with strikeout number 6 to retire the side. That's it for the Yankees. And after 5 innings of play, Randy and the Mariners lead Leary and the Yankees 1-0. Only 1 run in the ball game. The Mariners lead the Yankees 1-0. It came in the top of the second when Ken Griffey Sr. walked, went to second on an Edgar Martinez single, and Griffey scored on a base hit into right field by Pete O'Brien. And right now, that has been it. We go to the top of the 6th inning. The Mariners are run on 2 hits. The Yankees no runs, 2 base hits, neither side with an error. And catcher Scott Bradley will lead off the top of the 6th inning. He'll be followed by Greg Briley and then Harold Reynolds.
All right, Scotty B, here it is. Where you snap out of it.
Scott has his family and some friends here at the ballpark tonight. Usually does. Grew up in New Jersey. A strike on Bradley, 0-1. Scott struck out. Looking in the third. Foul ball out of play on the left field side, 0-2. So far, Randy Johnson has pitched a heck of a ball game. It looks like some concern for Randy.
Well, there was Rick Griffin standing there, and Mike Paul, Jimmy Lefevre.
That's bad news right there.
He's going down in the tunnel that leads to the clubhouse.
Well, there's no activity down in the bullpen. One and two on Scott Bradley. There's a bouncer up the first base line, foul, and the count is still 1-2 on Scott. So the bad sign was that Johnson had to leave the dugout, looked like head up the runway to the clubhouse, but there's nobody warming up.
Maybe he was just upset that somebody had his seat.
Yeah, that was it. Well, it's time to go back and get a hot dog or something. I don't know. 1-0 Mariners lead. We're in the sixth. Scott hitting just 107. No home runs, 2 runs batted in, but 2 big RBIs to win games against Oakland and Minnesota. Fly ball into left center field. Roberto Kelly is there. And he's got it one away. Nobody was within about 50 feet. Roberto says, I've got it. I've got it.
Well, he's got Hensley Mullins in left field on that occasion where Hensley was closing in on him, and Hensley speaks 5 languages, and Roberto just wanted to make sure he said the right one.
Skipper Jim Lefevre guiding his ball club to 6 games over the 500 mark right now. Trying to go 7 over. Greg Briley 0 for 2. Looks at a pitch inside. Ball 1.
And now 0 for 15 against Tim Leary.
Pee Wee has grounded out twice. High ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. The club record for over the 500 mark is 7 games over. That was set back in July 8th of 1982. When you were here, Joe. Hard ground ball up the middle. Backhanded by Sachs. Back to Moss. In time. 2 away. So Pee Wee is gone for the 3rd time. A ground ball to second baseman Steve Sachs. 2 away brings up Reynolds. So the Mariners have a chance to tie club record tonight. If they win tonight, 7 games over 500.
Seems to me we lingered around that 500 or the 5 to 7 games above 500 mark as we take a look at that last play. Nice play by Sachs up the middle. Until about August 1st. And then Todd Cruz got hurt at shortstop, and we suffered because of that.
Harold tonight is 0 for 2, looking to extend his hitting streak. Fly ball into left field. Hensley Mullins going back of the ball, and Bam Bam makes the catch for out number 3. And after 5.5 innings of play here in New York, it's still the Mariners 1 and the Yankees nothing.
Fans, this telecast is presented by the authority of the Seattle Mariners Baseball Club and may not be rebroadcast or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners Baseball Club. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. This is Joe Simpson along with Rick Riz at Yankee Stadium, and apparently Randy Johnson was just upset. Maybe his sweatshirt was too wet and he had to go to the clubhouse and change sweatshirts. You think that was it?
I hope so,
because he's back out there.
That was scary to see him get off the dugout bench and head toward the clubhouse. But then we knew that there was nothing wrong because nobody was warming up down to the bullpen. That beautiful view from the blimp high above Yankee Stadium.
Huh? The blimp?
We have the blimp high overhead.
Oh.
Oh, that's on Sunday. I thought we had it here tonight.
No, we got these cameras.
Oh, that's that camera.
We got the camera guy.
Oh. Steve Sachs, check swing ground ball out to Alvin Davis. Easy first out for Randy Johnson. We have
we're gonna hang you out
the
up there on this-
SeaWorld blimp coming here, and I thought it was here tonight. I'm sorry. Forgive me, Joe.
I don't know.
One away, one pitch, and that'll bring up first baseman Kevin Maas. I thought the blimp was here.
Steve Sax still struggling. 0 for 3 tonight.
3 for his last 38. Maas is 0 for 1. He has walked and fly to right.
Like Randy got in Sax's kitchen. Right hand was hurting a little bit with that jam shot.
Number 1 in the league now with 34 walks.
He's walked in line to right tonight. You can see how he is not affected by the left-handed tosses.
There's a good slider for a strike. 1-1.
Although he did flinch a little bit there. He hangs in there real tough against the lefties. And anytime you can hang in there against a guy 6'10", who has a tendency to drop down once in a while and can still bring that 95+ gas at you, you're doing a good job.
Another slider, got it on the outside corner. 1-2.
Randy's breaking balls tonight, the slider, the hard slider that you just saw, and that slower curveball have really been effective. He has thrown them for strikes.
Gives you that extra pitch. There's the fastball. He gets it on by, swinging, strike 3, 2 outs. Strikeout number 7 for Randy Johnson, 2 down.
And make no mistake about it, Randy likes strikeouts. He likes the confrontation with a hitter to blow somebody away, especially with his fastball. He enjoys that. That's his strength.
There's that shot from the blimp again.
Yeah, that blimp is right above the stadium. But that's why I think at times he begins to fight himself when he's not able to mow people down with that fastball. He just keeps trying to throw it harder and harder.
Swing and a miss by right fielder Jesse Barfield. 0-1. Not a real good job in the homestand for Jesse. Only 4 hits. He is 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout. He has grounded out to Martinez over at third base. Bill Kruger's philosophy last night was make him swing the bat. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't throw that many pitches in 6 1/3 innings. Up and away, put a little too much, got underneath the fastball. 1-1 on Barfield. Randy's going to throw a lot of pitches, but he's strong enough to do it.
He's beginning to talk to himself a little bit out there. I just hope he's not listening.
Unless he says, stay within yourself. Throw strikes. Down and in, ball 2, 2 balls and a strike on Barfield. Randy Johnson has pitched a heck of a ball game. He has walked only 2. He has struck out 7. Anytime Randy walks 5 or fewer, he wins. Whoa, that just missed. Ball 3, 3-1 on Barfield.
Scotty Bradley's calling a good ball game. It seems like when Randy does begin to overthrow his fastball a little bit, Scott goes right back to the breaking ball. And that was a good call, a good pitch there.
Little outside, didn't miss by much. Ball 4. That's only the 3rd walk given up by Randy Johnson. 1 on after 2 outs. Brings up left fielder Hensley Mullins. Scott Bradley caught Randy Johnson's no-hitter last June in Seattle when he no-hit and shut out the Detroit Tigers 2-0 to give the Mariners their first ever no-hitter. Mullins 0 for 2.
2 of his 3 walks tonight, though, have come with 2 outs, Rick, and that's a big difference for Randy, too. He's not walking any leadoff men.
Right there, he didn't miss at all by much with his last 2 pitches to Barfield. Slider is down and in, ball 1. You don't want to make a mistake on Mullins. He hit a home run in Seattle, opposite fielder right. Last year's International League Player of the Year at AAA Columbus. He had 26 home runs and 96 runs batted in. Missed inside with a fastball. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, it could be one of those nights.
Well, it always helps to readjust your cap. You know, pitcher walks back to us, readjust your cap. Comes a strike.
There it is. Fastball, strike, 2-1.
I've always found that to be so.
You're right. That was a big pitch right there to come back from a 2-0 count. Fastball, strike 2 called on the inside corner. 2-2. Barnett has been fairly consistent with the pitch on the inside corner on the right-handed hitters. Hensley hitting just .237. Couple of home runs, 9 RBIs. Slider, and it's outside. Ball 3, and now Barfield will take off with 2 outs over at first base.
Three and 2 with a runner going. He's going to have to come back with his best pitch. That's his fastball.
Runner goes. Swing and a ground ball, base hit up the middle into center field. Barfield will scoot around to third. Came back with a slider on 3-2. So a base hit for Hensley Mullins, and now the Yankees have the tying run at third. The go-ahead run is out at first base. There are 2 outs. And the batter is designated hitter Mel Hall, and once again Randy Johnson will try to work himself out of a jam.
Rick, if he had thrown that breaking ball that well on the 2-2 pitch, he'd have probably got Mullins, probably got him to take the pitch for a strikeout. But on 3-2, Mullins is ready for a looking fastball. He throws it out over the middle of the plate, and he bangs it up through the middle. Give Mullins some credit there, hitting the 3-2 breaking ball. But he just missed with the breaker on the 2-2 pitch.
Mel Hall is 0 for 2. He has grounded out to Reynolds at second base, and he has flied out to left fielder Ken Griffey. Outside, ball 1.
And remember, Mel Hall coming into tonight's game, a 163 hitter against left-handed pitching, and 0 for 2 tonight.
Little bit low. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes on Hall. Due up next is third baseman Randy Velarde. 1-0 Mariners lead. They have now been out hit by the Yankees 3-2.
And he's a free swinger, Mel Hall. Last year, 1 walk every 42 at bats. I think he would have led this team if it hadn't been for Oscar Azócar.
Azócar, yeah. There's a strike on Hall. Came back and he got the strike 2-1. You had to work to walk Azócar.
He did, and the Mariners accomplished that feat. I think we were. I'm not sure
First
the
team to
pitcher
walk
was.
him, I think.
First
right?
team to walk him last year.
He was traded away during the offseason to the San Diego Padres, and I think he's at AAA Las Vegas. 2 on, 2 outs. Up and in, ball 3. 3-1 on Hall. With 2 outs, a walk to Jesse Barfield, and a single into center field on a 3-2 pitch by Hensley Mullins.
Mel Hall's a good fastball hitter, and he's going to see one here. Just a matter of tuning up to it.
Fastball swing and a miss, and he went after ball 4. That one was way out of the strike zone. He was looking fastball all the way, and he chased it for strike 2 instead.
But when you struggle against left-handed pitching like Mel does, Rick, and then you see the fastball, the pitch that you hit the best, the thing looks good. You've already made your mind up. This is a fastball. I'm swinging. It was obvious on that occasion. He had already made up his mind before Randy ever let the ball go.
Way out of the strike zone. Chased it about a foot out of the strike zone, about cap high. Big pitch. Mullins at first will take off. Ground ball to Reynolds at second. Johnson will get out of the inning, and that's it for New York. Hall has gone 4-3, and that is the 3rd time that Randy Johnson has worked out of trouble. And after 6 innings of play, Mariners still lead New York 1-0. Here's your chance to live your sports fantasy. Budweiser presents the Mariners Dream Sweepstakes. You can win a group party for 20 at a Mariners game this year and meet Eric Hansen and other Mariner players. You can also win trips to the World Series or All-Star game and much more. Pick up an official entry form where Budweiser beer is sold. Then watch the M's all season long on KSTW TV Channel 11. A winner will be announced in the 7th inning stretch of every game. Listen to KXRX 96.5 for more details. We go to the top of the 7th inning here at Yankee Stadium, the opening game of the 3-game series, and the Mariners lead New York 1-0. And it's been that way from the 2nd inning on. Ken Griffey Jr. will lead it off. He is 0 for 2 against Leary tonight. Griffey trying to break out of an 0 for 17 slump. Low and inside in the dirt. Ball 1. Pretty good month of May for Jr. The last 2+ years in the big leagues. Came into the ball game tonight hitting .299. Strike at the knees, 1-1.
I'm glad he's seen a couple of pitches on this at bat too, Rick. In Cleveland the other night, 2 nights ago, he was swinging. It seemed like the first pitch every time up there.
Outside, ball 2. Looked at 5 in the 4th and looked at 4 pitches back in the 1st.
And he was swinging some bad pitches, I might add, too.
Wow, the Indians are having a fun time in Cleveland tonight. Popped up into left field. Hensley Mullins drifting back. He is there, and he's got it. Kerplunk one away. In Cleveland tonight, it's the Indians 11 and Oakland 2. John Briscoe is now pitching in the bottom of the 4th inning for the Oakland A's.
Bottom of the 4th, and it's 11-2.
11-2. Cleveland with a big lead over the Oakland Athletics. 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th. Men at 1st and 2nd and 2 outs. Jacoby hit a 3-run home run off of John Briscoe. Jacoby just coming back off the DL yesterday against the Mariners. Ken Griffey Sr. Only home run this year coming against Leary back home in Seattle. 1-1 the count on Ken, who walked and scored the only run of the game in the 2nd.
It's the only inning the Mariners got any hits off Leary. They bunched that walk with a couple of knocks from Martinez and O'Brien for the only run. The Yankees have now out-hit the Mariners 3-2, so they need to give Randy Johnson a little bit of breathing room if Mr. Leary will cooperate, but so far he hasn't.
Sometimes it doesn't matter how many hits you get, it's just when you get them, especially if you get the pitching. Right now, that has been the story tonight. Swing off the end of the bat, a foul by Griffey, and the count is still 1-2. Mariners lead 1-0 here in the top of the 7th. If you just tuned in, 1 out. Outside, ball 2, 2-2.
It wasn't until tonight when I was thinking about Leary in the offseason. His name came up a couple of times. Trade rumors. Wondering how many teams would want a guy 9-19.
There's a drive deep but foul down the right field line. Out of play, still 2-2 on Senior.
I kept thinking, God, I really liked the guy. When I saw him pitch during the season in 1990, he looked pretty good to me. I can't figure out why it was 9-19, except the Yankees struggled. They
didn't score many
rough
runs
time. Well, I didn't even realize then until tonight when I was looking at his numbers how poorly they did support him. But he also really stuck it on the Mariners. 3-0 with an 0.74 ERA. That's what stuck in my mind, I guess.
Hard ground ball right at Sachs. 2 outs for the Mariners here in the 7th inning.
I mean, the games I saw him pitch were brilliant.
And he's 5-3 for his career against the Mariners. So he has pitched well against the M's over the last few years. 2 outs brings up third baseman Edgar Martinez. Edgar 1 for 2 with a single in the 2nd. Skipper Jim Lefebvre looking for his ball club to win their 5th in a row and a chance to move into first place tonight. If the Mariners win tonight, looks like the Indians are going to win tonight at home over the Oakland A's. 0-1. This ball club believing that they can win. They've come back so many times. They've won 6 times in their last at bat. Hard ground ball fouled and behind third base coach Bill Plummer. The count is even on Martinez at 1-1. I was talking with Ron Clark, who's sitting right next to Jim Lefebvre. He was with the White Sox last year. He said, Rick, we won 16 times last year with the White Sox in their final at bat. That's an incredible number.
Wow.
The Mariners are doing the same thing this year. Last night's game, an example of 2 runs in the 9th inning. Here's an update. 5th inning, Cleveland 11, Oakland 2. Man, is that good news from Cleveland Stadium. Out of play behind the plate into the upper deck, and the count is even on Martinez. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This guy really goes to work with 2 strikes on him. That makes it tougher for guys like Leary and everybody else around the league. Martinez hitting .355. 1-0 Mariners lead, top of the 7th, 2 outs. There's a shot backhanded by Sachs, spins him around, and that will retire the side. Nice play by Sachs. And after 6.5 innings of play here at Yankee Stadium, our score: the Mariners 1, the Yankees 0. Fans, Kirk Gibson and the new look Kansas City Royals beat the M's for a 3-game series beginning on Monday, May the 27th. Remember, following the ball game on the 27th, the Mariners and Coca-Cola present a Memorial Day fireworks spectacular. Monday, May the 27th is also a family night courtesy of Safeway and the Seattle PI. All tickets are half price. The series will conclude with a Cairo 9-inning lunch on Wednesday, May the 29th. Game time is 12:35. For tickets, stop by the Kingdom or call Ticketmaster at 628-0888. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Mariners have that slim 1-0 lead over the Yankees. Randy Johnson to face Velarde, Guerin, and Espinosa. The bottom third of the order for manager Stump Merrill. Fastball misses, ball 1. Velarde has struck out a couple of times, both times looking on fastballs on the inside corner. Low, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. One more time, Randy Johnson worked himself out of a jam in the 6th inning. We have a defensive change for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Henry Cotto is in left field for Ken Griffey Sr. Out of play, 2-1 on Velarde. Randy Johnson has pitched very well tonight, looking to pick up his 3rd win of the season. Bullpen is quiet tonight. Swing and a miss, and the count is even at 2-2. But the Yankees have some activity down in the bullpen. A left-hander is warming up. The Yankees this afternoon called up pitcher Alan Mills from AAA Columbus, along with infielder Torey Lovello. They sent down third baseman Jim Leyritz, and the Yankees traded away Mike Blowers to the Mariners. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him swinging. 3rd time that Randy has fanned Randy Velarde. That's his 8th strikeout tonight.
He has really worked the inside corner on Velarde. And this is the 3rd time. Randy wasn't going to let him get in there again, but couldn't connect. This one was down a little bit, too.
Fastball down and in. He chased it. He fell behind 2-0. He comes back and he strikes him out. Randy Velarde fanned for the 3rd time. At least that time he took a cut on strike 3. One away brings up catcher Bob Guerin. Randy in his last outing went 4+ innings. Time before that only 5 1/3. So big outing for Randy tonight here in New York. Outside on Guerin, ball 1. Bob and his wife expecting a child, and they know it's going to be a boy, and people want him to name the boy Hank Guerin.
You think he's brave enough to do that?
Bob said, no, I don't know if I want him to be called Hank Guerin, a little close to Hank Aaron. That would be okay. Swing and a miss by Guerin. Strike one. 1 ball and 1 strike. One of the greats of all time, Hank Aaron.
Bob checked with home plate umpire Larry Barnett after that swing to see if that high cheese was as hard as it sounded.
Larry said, uh-huh. Another fastball fouled away, and the count is now 1-2 on Guerin. Last year, I don't know what the bet was, but on the way from, I think it was New York to Seattle. I don't know if they were on the road, but I think they were coming back from New York. Guerin made a bet with the trainer, Gene Monahan, and lost the bet. And Guerin, on the flight, had to shave his head. Remember, he showed up in Seattle looking like Yul Brynner. One out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1-0 Mariners lead way up high. Ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Outside, ball 3. Full count, 3-2.
He had the right idea. Guerin looking fastball all the way. Took a quick jump when he took his stride, and the ball finally arrived. You can see it already taken his stride by the time the ball came out of Randy's hand. But he just couldn't get the pitch to come across the plate.
Fastball swing and a miss at strike 3. High fastball. 2 outs. Strikeout number 9 for Johnson.
Rick, I know the folks tuned in tonight on Channel 28 in Spokane, KAYU TV, are enjoying these strikeouts by Randy Johnson as well. The people in Yakima tuned in on KCY TV and also KBW TV in Richland, Kennewick, and Pasco, Washington. And the folks tuned in at KSTW TV 11 in the Seattle-Tacoma area. I hope you're appreciating this effort by Randy Johnson as we are.
Manager Jim Lefevre, pitching coach Mike Paul appreciating the effort of Randy Johnson tonight. 2 down. Here's Alvaro Espinoza. 9 doubles this year. He had 12 all last season. He had a double in the 3rd, 1 for 1. He's also walked. High and outside, ball 1. Johnson 9 strikeouts tonight. Career high for Randy is 12 in a game against the Toronto Blue Jays back in 1989. So Randy has it working tonight. Good control. He has walked 2 and fanned 9. Make it 3 walks. Swing and a pop up out of play on the first base side. 1-1 on Espinoza. He walked Mas in the 1st, Espinoza in the 5th, and Barfield in the 6th. So 3 walks, 9 Ks. Espinoza likes hitting at home. He's hitting .295 at home. Tonight, the M's a chance to move into first place with a win tonight here in New York. Cleveland winning big in Cleveland right now, leading the Oakland Athletics heat 11-5. Last time we checked, that was in the 5th inning. Slider for strike 2 called on Espinoza. The count is 1-2, and Randy is 1 strike away from striking out the side. 1 strike away from his 10th strikeout. Johnson doesn't waste too much time. Check swing. Did he go on a slider? He does. Strike 3, and Johnson strikes out the side. Strikeout number 10 for Randy Johnson. Espinoza could not hold up on the slider, and Espinoza barking some with Barnett. 1, 2, 3, and after 7, the Mariners still lead the Yankees 1-0.
New York, Randy Johnson, what a night. 10 strikeouts, the second time that he has fanned 10 this year, the 10th time in his career. Now, I didn't say this because we got a ways to go in the ball game, but some wag, that's what we call people we were on that. Right. Some wag came in and said, maybe Mike Moore has finally pitched the Mariners into first place. He got creamed tonight. Ow! Oh! He got creamed tonight in Cleveland, and the Cleveland Indians are leading by a score of 11-2 there, but we got a ways to go. Good to have you with us.
Let's not shortchange. This has been a pretty good pitching performance all the way around. Not just Randy Johnson, but the guy on the hill right now for the Yankees has retired 17 in a row.
Boy, he has been magnificent.
Going back to the base hit by this guy, and that was in the 2nd inning. Pete O'Brien's RBI single in the 2nd.
Kind of typical of a Leary performance, not getting any support at all. O'Brien hooks one into the corner. Foul. 2 strikes on Pete.
Yankees have not been too fond of Larry Barnett tonight at the plate. While Randy Johnson's been mowing them down, we saw Steve Sachs get upset in the first inning and argue a little bit. There's the big unit sitting in the dugout. And also Espinosa in the last inning, after he struck out, he stood at home plate for a long time and then rifled his helmet skipped it right past Larry Barnett. And Larry was pointing at him as Espinosa was retreating to shortstop.
1-2 on Pete O'Brien.
You can be fined for throwing your helmet and not ejected.
Out of play behind home plate. 16,810 here on this Friday evening. Only 2 hits for the Mariners. The back-to-back singles in the second inning. O'Brien sends a line drive foul and broke his bat on that one. Well, I'll guarantee you one thing. If Randy Johnson does win this ball game, he will be plastered all over New York's newspapers tomorrow. O'Brien with a new stick. Randy, by the way, has thrown 109 pitches. Leary 100.
They've both been outstanding.
And that's out of play.
Leary has not been as spectacular in his effort. Only 1 strikeout. That came in the 3rd inning. He got Scott Bradley looking. Made some excellent pitches on Scott on that at bat. Whereas Randy, of course, in double digits with 10. But he's been just effective.
At the fork ball down in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Pete O'Brien.
In fact, he's given up fewer hits. He's only allowed 2 hits. Randy's allowed 3. Randy's walked 3. And Leary has walked only 1. But it came around to haunt him in the second inning. And that walk was followed up by singles by Martinez and O'Brien.
Inside. Ball 3. Quite an at-bat for Pete O'Brien here. Trying to snap the string. 17 in a row retired by man from Pacific Palisades. Tim Leary, Pacific Palisades, California. 3-2 outside. That was quite an at-bat. And Tim Leary has walked only his second man.
Oh, my brother's here.
Oh, Bart. You don't think that's hot tonight?
Oh, man.
It's New York.
Sees himself on the big screen and very
there's
happy about
Alan Mills, who was just called up today from Columbus. Getting up and starting to tune up for New York in the bullpen. Greg Cadaret also up and throwing. Alvin Davis, it's a 1-hopper to Sachs, who will turn and go to Espinosa and back to Kevin Maas. So just like that, 2 outs for the Mariners in the 8th.
Steve Sachs has got to feel like somebody's shooting mortars at him tonight. He's had some rockets hit at him. Edgar Martinez hit a rope at him last inning for a 1-hopper. This one is almost like, what have I got here? And because it was hit so hard, plenty of time to turn the double play. I admire him for just hanging in there and staying in front of the ball.
Omar Vizquel, the hitter, and pops it up. And Roberto Kelly has plenty of time. And that will be that in the 8th inning for the Mariners. And the plot thickens. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left in the bottom half of the 8th, the top of the Yankee order. Roberto Kelly, Steve Sachs, and Kevin Maas still 1-0 Mariners.
You're watching Seattle Mariners baseball, brought to you in part by Subaru and your Northwest Subaru dealers.
Well, friends, don't miss our next telecast. It'll be Sunday morning at 10:30 when the Mariners play the final game of the series against the New York Yankees. That's Sunday morning at 10:30 right here on the Mariners Baseball Network. Well, Jim Lefevre asked Larry Barnett to go out to the mound see if Randy Johnson was injured, and Randy Johnson's going to leave this ball game after having pitched magnificently, and apparently whoever comes in is going to be given as much time as he needs to warm up. Well, an interesting development here, Joe.
Well, it's kind of a scary development to me. Hopefully, you know, we saw him earlier in the ball game come into the dugout and then leave after talking to Rick Griffin. He was very disgusted about something. I don't know if it was the same problem that, if we want to call it a problem, earlier in the ball game. Looks like there he's doing a little twisting and turning, like maybe he's tightening up, maybe he's stiff. Maybe his back stiffened up on him a little bit. It is windy here, and a lot of times when a pitcher breaks a good sweat, it'll tighten up on him if he's in the dugout for any length of time.
So Billy Swift will be called in from the bullpen and asked to do still another great job, and he has certainly done that all year long for the Mariners. So a change in pitchers. Billy Swift will warm up, and while a change is made, we'll take this time out. Well, Billy Swift has got to get the final 6 outs in this ball game. A very close affair, as you can see. The Mariners leading it by a score of 1-0, having scored the only run in the ball game in the second inning. And since that second inning, why, Tim Leary has faced the minimum number of Seattle Mariners. And as soon as we get a report on Randy Johnson, we shall pass it along to you. He ended up throwing 109 pitches, 3 hits, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. And as you could see if you've been watching throughout the early evening back there, he was throwing smoke tonight and had an outstanding slider. But Billy Swift cranking it up in a hurry to try and get warm.
Billy's been pitching great baseball. He was not in last night's ball game at Cleveland, but he earned his 4th save in Cleveland on Wednesday. In fact, he, until last night, had been in 4 straight ball games. He was up in the 9th inning just in case Mike Jackson needed him. It turned out they didn't need him. He's been pitching a lot, but he has been effective. He's retired the last 12 batters he has faced. And we've been talking a little bit, Dave, about tomorrow's ball game. It's still undecided in Jimmy Lefevre's words and Mike Paul's about who's going to pitch tomorrow. In fact, I asked him right before the ball game, well, who's it going to be tomorrow? I know you want to get the same type of results you got from Bill Kruger last night in Cleveland. And all he would say was, well, it's going to be a mystery pitcher, surprise pitcher. And he said, we're going to bring a guy out there with a tarp over him. We're just going to unveil him. And all along, I have felt like it was certainly going to be Russ Swan. He was the most likely character. But now he's up warming up in the bullpen. So I'm in the dark as much as I ever was and totally confused. And I'll be as surprised as anyone in the ballpark tomorrow, and depending on who warms up and who starts the ballgame for the Mariners.
Well, John Sterling, the radio announcer for the Yankees, just leaned over and said, who's pitching tomorrow? I said, I have no idea. Lee Guterman is the left-hander.
And Steve Farr is the right-hander.
Well, here we go into the 8th of a 1-0 tremendous ball game here in New York tonight. Roberto Kelly against Randy Johnson had the gift windblown double in the first, and he was strikeout victim number 6. Swift misses inside with a fastball, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Still on the wire a while ago, Nolan Ryan will miss his turn this weekend. Ground ball. That's Billy Swift. That's his act. Ground ball, ground ball, ground ball. Omar Vizquel has Roberto Kelly 1 out.
Billy and Mike Jackson have been used so much recently that it was a good move, I thought, when they brought up Dave Burba, that Burba was the selection when he was recalled from Calgary when Bankhead went on the disabled list, because they needed a little more depth in the bullpen from the right side to give Billy and Mike Jackson a little bit of a breather.
Down the middle for a strike, 0-1. Swifty has appeared in 5 of the last 6 Mariner games. Of course, Monday was the off day. And a ground ball toward the hole. Reynolds has it go off his glove. That'll be a base hit for Steve Sachs.
That was going to be an extremely tough play for Harrell, one we've seen him make in the past, but Sachs very quick down the line from the right side, and Harrell was going to have to throw back across his body. Base hit all the way.
There's Russ Swan, and look out here. Kevin Moss, the man with the Yankee Stadium swing, and that porch 314 feet away. Moss has walked, line to right, and struck out. Tying run aboard. Go ahead run at the plate. Got to keep your eye on Sachs. He's swiped 5 out of 6. Moss, a double play ball hit to Reynolds on 2 hops, to Vizquel, to Alvin, and just like that, Billy Swift gets out of a little tepid water here in the 8th. 4, 6, 3. No runs, a hit, nobody left. End of 8 now, and it's still 1-0 Mariners. Well, we go to the 9th inning here. The Mariners leading at 1-0. Elsewhere in the American League, Minnesota leading the Detroit Tigers 4-1. The Tigers have lost 6 in a row. As you can see, Cleveland just hammering on Oakland 11-2 in the 7th inning of play. California and Baltimore, that in the bottom half of the 6th, with the Orioles leading at 5-1, and Toronto and the White Sox a 1-1 tie in the 6th inning.
Sprinkling.
And Boston and Texas 5-2 Rangers in the 4th. Kansas City 3-1 over Milwaukee in the 5th.
Obviously not, since he put his umbrella away.
Here's Dave Valley up for his first at bat against Tim Leary. And sends a high fly ball into left center field and fairly deep. Back on the ball is Kelly. He's to the track to make the catch. That ball hit about 395, 96 feet away.
Dave went up there hacking. First pitch. Maybe going back to the dugout wondering why those guys have been having so much trouble with this guy all night.
Well, here's Pee Wee. He's looking for his first hit ever against Tim Leary. 0 for 16.
Right on the track. Gave it a ride.
Sinker, low ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Since the Mariners' 0-6 start, they have the best record in baseball, 20-8. Jammed him in on the hands, and the count, a ball and a strike. Yeah, I'm anxious to see that man in the cloak come out there tomorrow.
Hood.
Yeah.
Have a hood on.
Harold Reynolds is next. He's the on-deck man. And that ball line foul down the right field line.
Since that base hit by Pete O'Brien in the 2nd inning, Leary has faced, with the help of 1 double play in the 8th, the minimum number of hitters, and that's 21. But again, it bears repeating that last year he had the poorest run support of any pitcher in baseball, only just barely over 3 runs on the average per 9 innings.
That's out of play. 16,810 Yankee fans, maybe a few Mariner fans here. As a matter of fact, we know there are. We've got a couple of notes from people that are here watching the Mariners play from the Seattle area. And the 1-2 again. Line shot, 1 hopped off the glove of Espinosa. He picks it up, fires to first, not in time to get Pee Wee, and he's finally got a base hit against Tim Leary.
That was a rope, too. It'll go as a hit. Espinosa almost came up with it. There have been some hard hit balls. We mentioned the ones hit at Sachs. Dave Valley gave the first pitch a ride this inning, and now Espinosa almost comes up with a rocket off the bat of Greg Briley, but Pee Wee just beats it out.
Well, this may be the last chance, as you have a look at it, just barely beat it out, for Harold Reynolds to extend his hitting streak, which is a dozen games. He's gone 0 for 3 tonight, and the Mariners' first hit since the second inning. Briley, a great shot to go here. 8 stolen bases.
One thing to be careful here, though, Leary had 6 pickoffs last year, Dave, and that was tied for the most by any right-handed pitcher in baseball. He was tied with Charlie Huff and Jose Rijo. He's got a good move over there for a right-hander.
Taking quite a respite out there right now, and we shall too as we pause 5 seconds for station identification on the Mariners Baseball Network.
This is KSTW Television, Channel 11, Tacoma, Seattle, the home of the Mariners.
Now he's set. And he goes. The pitch is a strike. The throw through, and Pee Wee belly flops in safely as the throw gets away from Espinosa into shallow left center field. David, number 9.
It looked like the throw was there, and maybe Pee Wee's slide knocked the ball out of Espinosa's glove. Harold Reynolds did his job. He was trying to make it hard for Guerin to make the catch and the throw. This will be a great angle to see. He landed right on the glove as Espinosa was trying to catch it. And Pee Wee has his 9th stolen base of the year. He's been caught 4 times. The Mariners trying to add an insurance run here in the 9th. Good jump.
What a big run it would be. And the Mariners with their best man up there, average-wise, hitting with men in scoring position. Hitting .417. And it's a fly ball this time routinely, however, to Mullins. And Hensley has it. 2 outs. Well, Junior is struggling at the present time.
Well, they were trying to catch Pee Wee napping. That quick throw back to second. Remember, it was Espinosa who caught Ken Sr. napping after he rounded first on a base hit in Seattle. Picked him off first base after a base hit. They almost got Pee Wee going back into second there as Stump Merrill makes his way to the mound.
Yeah, I think he's going to say, I don't care if Junior is 0 for his last 18. He is overdue, and it looks like the left-hander Lee Guterman will come in and pick up for Tim Leary, who should receive an outstanding round of applause as he leaves, and he does. So, is it Lee Guterman who's coming in out there now? Doesn't run like Lee Guterman.
No, I don't believe it is.
It is not Guterman. And we'll tell you who it is when we return. We've got a break in the action here. The score: the Mariners 1, Yankees nothing.
Cataray.
Well, Greg Cataray is the new pitcher for the New York Yankees, and he has thrown his first delivery to Ken Griffey Jr. A breaking ball that was a little bit low and outside, so the count 1 ball and no strikes. So the left-hander Greg Cataray trying to get the final out here in the 9th and give the Yankees a shot in the bottom half. And a slow stuff high and inside 2-0.
Dave, we've been talking about how often used the bullpen is for the New York Yankees. Greg Cataray must feel like a regular, and not just as a pitcher, but as a regular player. This is his 19th appearance in this, the 32nd Yankee game.
And Junior takes the ball outside. The man on deck is Henry Cotto. Cotto going in the 7th inning defensively for Ken Griffey.
They're going to put him on, it looks like, too. How about that? Bringing the lefty to pitch to the lefty, and then you put him on. Pitch to the right-hander. Is that the way that works?
Not supposed to.
Not too often, does it?
Not supposed to.
That kind of goes against the reason for bringing in the lefty to pitch to the lefty, but here comes the stumper again, and I guess he's going to bring the right-hander in to pitch to Cotto, and the fans greet him.
Boos raining down on Stump Merrill as he goes out to get Greg Cataray, and Alan Mills, the right-hander, will come in to pitch to Henry Cato, who has been just fabulous in a clutch role of late, but then who hasn't? So we've got a break in the action here in New York, with the score still the Mariners 1, the Yankees 0.
Dave, apparently the fans not the only ones unhappy with Stump Merrill after the change was made to bring in Alan Mills. Greg Cadere stalked off the mound after he handed the ball to Stump Merrill. Got himself a drink in the dugout, fired the cup of water. He was very unhappy when he got back to the Yankee dugout. Actually worked up a little steam before he got there.
Well, you got to throw strikes, don't you?
Yeah, you do, but perhaps he was unhappy with the fact that he had to throw the last 2 balls wide and put Junior on. Here was the exchange at the mound. Hands the ball. A few rough words exchanged there. Bob Guerin wide-eyed. And then the return to the dugout. Alan Mills was doing a good job at Columbus prior to his recall. He was in 13 ball games for the Clippers, 0-2 record, but he had 6 saves and a 1.47 ERA over 18 innings. He'd allowed only 14 hits. He'd walked 10, struck out 13. He's 24 years old, from Lakeland, Florida.
Well, Henry Cato has been hot. Henry has 7 hits in his last 13 at bats. 2 on, 2 out in a 1-0 ball game. And the runners go. Cato takes a strike, throw through to third base, not in time, double steal. As Greg Briley picks up his 10th steal, and Junior picks up number 5.
What a great job. Big opportunity the Mariners capitalize on with the youngster Mills. His first pitch since being recalled. Doesn't hold the runners close, and both Briley and Reynolds are off to the races. Throw is high, and Greg is in there with his 2nd stolen base of the inning. He now has 10 on the year. Harold right behind him. He gets his 6th.
Well, with
great job.
2 outs, you got to make that work, and the Mariners did.
I said Harold made the steal. It's not Harold. It's Junior that was at first base.
1 ball and 1 strike on Henry Cato.
It was Junior's 5th stolen base in as many attempts.
So Pee Wee is 10 for 14 so far this year. 1-1 on Henry Cato. Low outside ball, 2 balls and a strike. Edgar Martinez would be next.
Look at those numbers for Henry. He has been hot.
Two 1. 2-2.
Henry's been to the plate 11 times with men in scoring position. He's 4 for 11, hitting .364 with 5 RBIs. But against the Yankees so far this year, no luck. He's 0 for 8.
Two balls and 2 strikes on Cato. Low and outside, ball 4. Ball 3, I should say. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bob Guerin making the appeal to Greg Koskin. Koskin, no, he didn't go around. There's Briley over at third base.
Guerin blocked the ball, backhanded it actually as it was in the dirt, but was able to box it in front of him as he makes the appeal.
This will be the payoff delivery. Foul back. Nady's a little restless here tonight. There's a couple of guys that aren't exactly elated. The starter on your left, Tim Lurie, and Greg Cadere.
Mills was up briefly last year with the Yankees. This is not his major league debut. In fact, he was up was in 36 ball games for the Yankees after starting the season at Columbus. He was 1-5 for the Yanks, a 4.1 ERA.
Again, the 3-2 to Henry Cotto. Popped up, playable, I believe. Coming down, Moss, the first baseman, and he will make the catch to retire the side. And now it's hang on by your thumbs time for Mariner fans in this ball game. No runs, 1 hit, and the Mariners leave 2. As we go to the bottom of the ninth, Barfield, Mullins, and Hall due up. 1-0 Mariners. Well, the M's trying to hang on, and apparently they are 3 outs away from moving into first place in the American League West, because the Cleveland Indians are just crawling all over the Oakland A's in the 8th, leading the A's by a score of 11-4. As the M's only run coming in the 2nd inning on the RBI single by Pete O'Brien, who, by the way, now takes over at first base for Alvin Davis. That means if you get to the lineup, you go into extra innings. The pitcher's spot, Billy Swift would bat in the number 7 hole. Guests interviewed on Mariners baseball receive a $100 gift certificate from Alvin Goldfarb Jewelers. Alvin Goldfarb, your official Rolex jeweler. His name is your assurance of quality.
Dave, there's meat of the order for the Yankees up there with Barfield, Mullins, and Hall due up, but Stump Merrill has a bunch of lefties on the bench, including that guy, Don Mattingly, who's already got a helmet on.
Well, Barfield, no luck against Randy Johnson. And by the way, Randy Johnson left with stiffness in his lower back. We finally get that word. Barfield, a trickler down the third baseline. Martinez will let it go foul. He would have not had a play.
No, he would not. Playing deep behind the bag, as he should be for Barfield, and guarding the line.
So a strike on Jesse Barfield.
Barfield's a pull hitter. It's over half. When you look at a diagram of where he hits pitches, close to 50% of his hits are to left field.
Swifty trying to save it for Randy Johnson, who was brilliant. 10 strikeouts, 3 walks in his 7 innings of work. High, the fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Only 3 hits for the Mariners. Oh, what a slider.
Billy's been throwing hard too, Dave. That sinker's had something on it. He was on the gun at over 90 miles an hour the other day in the Kingdome. But as we mentioned, he's been in a lot of ball games. 5 of the last 6 games.
Slider. 2-2.
His career high for saves is 6, and that came last year. He could hang on tonight. He would already have 5 for 1991.
Slider got him swinging.
What a beauty.
So 11 Yankees have bit the dust, whipping tonight.
And here comes Mr. Mattingly, but what a pitch by Billy Swift. He started that slider right at the middle of the plate. He threw it hard, and it went down like a shot.
So Mr. Swift will have to get out 2 mighty tough left-handed batters, Don Mattingly and Mel Hall, before the M's can slide into the top spot.
Don's hitting .276, 2 homers and 12 RBIs, but this is his first pinch hit appearance of the year.
He hurt himself last night trying to break up a double play. That's the reason he wasn't in the lineup. And another reason is a guy by the name of Randy Johnson, left-hander. Mattingly only 2 home runs. His first home run came like, what, 313 at bats since his last one last year. But the darling of the Yankees and one of the most dangerous hitters in all of baseball, Don Mattingly. Only 314 feet down that right field line. Swift will try and keep the ball away from Mattingly, or if he comes in, he wants to come way in.
Well, it's strength to strength, too. Billy, a low ball pitcher, Mattingly, a low ball hitter.
Strike at the knees. 0-1. Outside. Just outside. Ball 2, 2-1. Eddie Layton, the longtime organist here at Yankee Stadium, playing a couple of bars of Back Home Again in Indiana with Don Mattingly up there from Evansville, Indiana.
Did you get a little misty-eyed?
Yeah, a little bit.
Mr. Princeton.
Low ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Speaking of legends, Bob Shepard, the voice of Yankee Stadium, 41 years. Here tonight, of course, the 3-1 to Mattingly. Fly ball to center field. Griffey will have to sprint in, and the kid is there to make the catch on his knees. Second out.
He got a late start, but he made the catch. Again, it's the hardest play to make for a center fielder when it looks like the guy has really launched one. You're playing deep anyway, and he comes in and makes it sliding on his knees. Great recovery. Nice catch.
Oakland is at bat in the 9th, trailing 11-4 to the Cleveland Indians.
Good 3-1 pitch again from Billy Swift.
Sinker low and outside, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. I asked Bob Shepard, the PA announcer, I said, whose place did you take 41 years ago, 1950? He says, I don't know. He said, Methuselah. Mel Hall hits a ground ball just foul to Pete O'Brien. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. He said, I really don't know. He said, I think they used to have different announcers come in and do the PA here. And 41 years later, he's a legend. Who wouldn't be after 41 years? So the Mariners 1 out away from their 5th consecutive win. Going outside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike on Mel Hall.
As you see, Jimmy Lefebvre anxiously waiting the end of this ball game. I was telling you about Mel Hall hitting only .207 against left-handers last year. He hit .268 against righties.
And a fly ball to right field, and Greg Briley is there. He has got it, and the beat continues. The Mariners have won 5 in a row and probably will wake up in the morning in first place in the American League
and
West.
They're dancing in the streets of Pioneer Square.
Wow, they have won 11 of their last 12 games. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. And the final 1-0 M's. We'll be right back.
D-Day, kid.
Well, looking down at Yankee Stadium in New York, 16,810 were here, and they see the Mariners behind Randy Johnson and Billy Swift shut out New York by a score of 1-0 and only 3 hits. Brilliant, brilliant pitching by Randy Johnson and by Tim Leary. And Randy Johnson is our Budweiser player of the game. Congratulations to Randy Johnson. Our Bud player of the game, nothing beats a Bud. So the Mariners apparently will be in first place when they wake up in the morning, because the Cleveland Indians are crushing the Oakland Athletics 11-4, and the Athletics have only 3 outs left to them in Cleveland. Once again, the M's 1, the Yankees nothing, and we'll have more right after this timeout. Well, again, the Mariners knock off the Yankees by a score of 1-0 here in New York tonight. They now have won 5 in a row and 11 of their last 12 games. Do join us again over most of these same Mariners Baseball Network stations Sunday morning at 10:30 when the M's play the final game of this 3-game series against the Yankees. For Joe Simpson and Rick Riz, I'm Dave Niehaus. Good night, everybody, from New York City.
You've been watching Seattle Mariners baseball. Today's game was brought to you in part by Michelob Golden Draft and Michelob Golden Draft Light. They're cold filtered, smooth and pure. Capture the pure gold. By Seafirst Bank. By Unical 76. We're still a service station. By Subaru and your local Subaru dealer. By Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. By Pizza Hut. Check directory assistance for the Pizza Hut delivery nearest you. Pizza Hut, making it great. And by True Value Hardware Stores. You can do it with True Value Hardware Stores. Seattle Mariners baseball is a KSTW TV 11 sports presentation.
Johnny making an amazing leaping catch.